So, Wale is right. Everything is a lot. And honestly, that might be the most relatable album title released this year, within the last couple of years. Because whether you are rich, broke, famous, regular, loved, lonely, successful, depressed, emotionally exhausted, or simply trying to survive day to day, life lately feels heavy. Everything feels layered now. Relationships are complicated, friendships are fragile, success comes with pressure. Social media amplifies insecurity. People are carrying trauma while pretending they are okay. Everything is a lot. And that is exactly what Wale sounds like throughout this album. A man carrying too much emotionally while trying to function through it all. Not a superhero, not as the cool, untouchable rapper archetyped, but as an actual person. And nowhere is that more obvious than Conundrum. It might not be the biggest song to you, it might not be the catchiest, not the song fans will scream the loudest of the loudest at a concert, but it is arguably the most important song on the entire project to me because it sets the emotional foundation for everything that follows. What immediately stands out about Conundrum is how uncomfortably honest it is. Wale opens the song talking about his child's mother and her husband, and that is raw, not because celebrity co parenting is new, not because breakups are unique, but because most men, especially rappers, are not emotionally transparent enough to openly speak from that perspective without either sounding bitter, angry, possessive, or performatively toxic. Wale does not sound like he's trying to win the situation emotionally. He sounds like somebody processing it in real time. That is what gives the record weight. There is a maturity in acknowledging that life moved on, relationships changed, people evolved, and now you are forced to emotionally coexist with realities you probably never imagined for yourself. A lot of people can relate to that. I can relate to that. Watching someone you once deeply loved build a life outside of you, trying to navigate co parenting, trying to suppress ego, trying to heal while still remaining present, trying to figure out how to emotionally move forward without becoming cold. That is a conundrum. And I think that is why the title is genius, because the song is not presenting one clean emotional answer. It is layered, conflicted, messy, just like real life. Wale sounds reflective throughout the record, but you can also hear emotional fatigue in his voice, almost like someone trying to make peace with the things internally while still quietly wrestling with them at the same time. That emotional contradiction is the entire album. Even beyond relationships, Conundrum feels like Wale unpacking years of pressure surrounding his identity, fame, and public narrative. For most of his career, Wale has been labeled emotional, difficult, sensitive, moody, and overly aware of criticism. But on this album, instead of denying those things, he almost asks the listener, what if those emotions came from somewhere real? Because people do not become emotionally guarded overnight. Sometimes heartbreak does it. Sometimes betrayal does it. Sometimes disappointment does it. Sometimes constantly feeling misunderstood does it. And over time, people slowly stop expressing themselves fully because vulnerability starts feeling dangerous. That is what makes Conundrum connect beyond Wale's personal life. The song becomes bigger than celebrity. Everybody has experienced emotional conflict. Everybody has had moments where they are trying to heal while simultaneously hurting. Everybody has struggled with accepting change. Everybody has tried to appear emotionally okay while privately being overwhelmed. And that is why the album title hit so hard. Everything is a lot. Not some things, everything. Love, parenthood, success, mental health, friendships, fame, expectations, aging, regret, healing. It all stacks on top of each other. And I think Wale intentionally starts the album with Conundrum because it humanizes him immediately before the project dives deeper into heavier themes. Songs like Power and Problems continue that emotional tension by exploring how success creates new burdens instead of eliminating the old ones. The title itself feels like a warning label. Power changes your life, but it does not automatically heal insecurity, loneliness, and unresolved trauma. Then you have Michael Fredo, where Wale sounds sharper and more frustrated, tackling betrayal in industry politics. But even there, underneath the aggression, you can still hear the emotional exhaustion introduced on Conundrum. That same feeling of, I am carrying more emotionally than people realize. And honestly, that has always been Wale's superpower as an artist. He has never really rapped like somebody trying to appear emotionally invincible. Even earlier in his career, Wale's music often centered around insecurity, love, validation, disappointment, ambition, and internal conflict. Sometimes audiences mocked that vulnerability instead of appreciating it. But the older people get, the more Wale's music start making sense. Because eventually life humbles you. People realize confidence and pain can't exist at the same time. Success and loneliness can exist at the same time. Healing and resentment can exist at the same damn time. That contradiction is conundrum. And honestly, that contradiction is adulthood. That is why I think this record is emotionally the centerpiece of the album. Not because it is trying to go viral, not because it is trying to dominate playlists, but because it sounds honest. And in an era where so much music feels performative, overly curated, emotionally shallow, or algorithmic driven, hearing an artist openly sit inside emotional discomfort without pretending to have all the answers feels refreshing. Wale is not presenting himself as a fully healed person here. He is processing. And maybe that is why this album resonates so deeply. Because a lot of people right now are processing life in real time too. Everything is a lot.